Okay, hello. It's 9:30 and it's January 13th and welcome to the weather update. I had some clouds around today, some sun, some clouds, definitely a milder day. You can see that storm is taking shape, so we actually have a lot to talk about, which is why I've got to do this weather update tonight. We're going to first take a look at the Weather Service's webpage. We're going to get a very cold air mass on Saturday. You can see that this air mass is actually coming right from the Arctic, so it's going to be Arctic air on Saturday. It's going to be even colder. And then we got this strong storm that we're going to deal with Sunday and the Monday as well. So those are like the two main weather things to watch right now. As far as this storm goes, it's not going to be an issue so much for us, this first storm right here. It's going to be more of an issue for maybe the Cape and Newfoundland and especially Nova Scotia. All right. Let's go look at our current conditions, and you can see we've got some wind chill advisories in effect as well. Right now, not that cold out there, 37 generally, 37 across the island right now, as well as Jersey and the city as well, upper 30s. Let's take a look at our high temperatures for today. So I'll look at the highs. And you see quite a mild day today. It was definitely on the mild side today. Took care of most of whatever the snow, most all the snow is gone right now. So 49 at Islip, 48 at West Hampton, and around 50 in some parts of Nassau County, and Farmingville reporting 50. So close to 50 degrees across Long Island today. And 48 in Central Park. Let's see, probably in the 50s in New Jersey. No, actually not. A little cooler there, oddly enough. 46 in Toms River, 47 at Lakehurst. When you go inland, though, it gets a little more like 51 there. But other than that, let's go to the lows next. And take a look at the lows. And lows generally were still pretty chilly last night. This morning, lows in the mid-20s, so 25 at Islip. 18 at West Hampton, 35 in the city, obviously. No radiational cooling there. And look at New Jersey. Got down to 19 at Miller Air Park and 19 as well in Lakehurst. So now that we're done with looking at that, let's go and take a look at what we're going to start, what we're going to be dealing with as we get into. So let's let's go to the eastern. I want to use the eastern U.S. Yeah, this is a good view. All right, so let's use the Eastern U.S. model. All right, this is the GFS, and we're going to show you what's going to happen with this low now taking shape out over the Atlantic there. And there it is. It's really going to get wound up tomorrow, but and it gets very, very deep. It's offshore, but it gets very, very deep. Look at how deep this system gets. This thing explodes, and the reason why it explodes, yeah, I should pop this on the screen actually and show you why it's exploding. Let's go to earthnullschool.net, and we'll take a look at our sea surface temperatures, our sea surface temperature anomalies. And there you go. Look at those anomalies off the northeast coast. I mean, those are some huge anomalies there. That bright yellow there, you're dealing with temperatures that are, look at that, 7.8 Celsius above normal in that area. That is 14.1 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, almost 15 degrees above normal. Ocean temperatures, very disturbing. Going a little more toward the coast, it's 5.5, but I mean, this is very warm water, and this is what's going to energize the storm and really deepen it. It could become some type of hybrid again, and when you take a look at the actual water temperatures in these areas, in this area right here off New England, still 47 degrees. That's well above normal for January. But then when we go a little further, we have water temperatures, look at that, 61. About 150 miles off of Cape Cod there, so that is really unbelievable. And that's what's going to help supercharge this storm. And look at how wound up it gets. And look, we're going to feel some of that wind tomorrow, and we're going to see some rough surf. The Cape is going to feel it a lot more with some wind-driven rain, maybe a little snow mixed in. And this thing is going to wallop Nova Scotia. It looks like it's the worst of it stays just off of Nova Scotia. But then after that, though, it could wind up slamming New Brunswick. Here it is on around midnight tomorrow night. This thing is just incredibly deep. If we look at the winds around it, take a look at this. Look at that. That is incredible. Purples. You're talking about hurricane force winds here. So this is really incredible stuff that we're looking at right here. Absolutely incredible. So let's Go back to the view here. And let's see if we could change this region here a little bit so we can get a better idea. I don't want the North American view, but I wish there was a view of of Canada, that whole part of Canada. Yeah, Southeast Canada. Here we go. This is the view I want. So I'll have to move this along this way. So look at this thing. Look at how deep it is. So it looks like it's going to hit New Brunswick. So let's take a look and see what kind of winds they could wind up dealing with here. And we will look at windy.com as well. Look at that. Look at some of these it looks like the worst of the winds are going to stay just offshore. But that is a very deep low, 958 millibar low there. That far north, absolutely incredible to see. And it's going to pull up some warm air on the right side of that, I bet. It's going to pull up some really warm air into, probably not Nova Scotia, but probably New Brunswick is going to get into some really warm air. Let's just look at the temperatures here. We're looking here. This is, again, around midnight Saturday. So let's take a look at the temperatures here. It's gonna shoot some really warm air up there. Yeah, it's gonna shoot some really warm air. This is in Celsius, I believe, but you can see it's gonna get up to near 50 degrees. Look at that. That far north is incredible, and it's gonna be some humid air too. So if you look at the dew points, it doesn't give us dew points. But very, very warm air. And we can also look at the 850 temperatures as well. Look at that. Oh, that's 850 temperature anomaly. Wow, that'll show you how much warm air is coming in there. Look at that. So it's going to pull air right from the tropics, and then behind it we get this Arctic air that's going to come in. This bitterly cold Arctic air. All right, so let me change this back to the eastern United States view. All right, so that's storm 1. Let's take a look at this. Put this back to the precip. So that's storm 1. All right, and that Arctic air comes down for Saturday. You can see here's that Arctic air. It's going to come right straight down from Hudson Bay. And then here comes the next storm. Now, we thought this was going to be a snowstorm, but right now, because of the storm track being west I-95, basically, it's going to be rain. But look at how tight those isobars are. Another very deep system. And then it looks like during day Monday, it transitions into a low off the coast. So maybe some snow at the tail end, but generally the snow is not going to be an issue in our immediate area. It's going to be more like Pennsylvania and New York New York north of like Rockland and Dutchess County, and interior New England would get into the snow. But the issue here is that we're going to get some strong winds, and it's going to be a very strong LLJ with this as well. And again, this storm is going to be with us it's going to come in early, probably after midnight on Sunday, and then it's going to be with us and then tapering off by the afternoon on Monday. But some very strong winds we're going to get, and there could be wind gusts quite strong. So let's take a look at some of these wind gusts here that we could be dealing with. And look at that. Some very strong southeasterly winds. Could be coastal flooding, especially on the South Shore. Again, that's a risk you take when you're on the South Shore, but I just wish people would really wake up and see what's going on. But look at that. That's incredible. So we're going to look at some more models with this, of course, because there's just a lot going on. So let's get to, we're not looking at soundings. Let's go to the northeast view, and let's talk about our short-term weather. We'll start with, we'll look at the precipitation view. All right, so let's go to the HRRR. All right, now, this storm is not in range. Well, the first storm is in range of the HRRR, but not the second storm. So here's the first storm on the HRRR, and you can see the precipitation pretty much staying offshore. It's only going to affect Cape Cod here at this point, and then you can see it pulling east there off the frame of the HRRR. So this is like a storm out in the middle of the ocean pretty much. But you can see we got some tight isobars, so we're going to be dealing with some breezes, some winds tomorrow. And that when that cold air comes in, it's still going to be kind of windy on Saturday morning, which is going to mean some pretty bone-chilling wind chill. So if we look at the temperatures here, you'll see tomorrow we're starting to cool off tonight already. And tomorrow we're only going to be, I think, in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. And then you can see what happens. That cold air comes on in tomorrow night, and the temperatures just plummet like a rock. Right, northerly winds right out of Hudson Bay. Those are the kind of winds that really make it very cold here. We're going to drop down into the single digits, I believe, 5 to 10 above across Long Island, and probably below 0 north of the city. And then as far as Saturday goes, we're not making it out of the teens. I think we're going to have highs only in the upper teens, maybe 20 degrees in southern parts of New Jersey. But other than that, and then Sunday, and then it's going to get even colder as we head into Sunday night. If we want to go a little further here and look at the GFS, you can see we're probably going to get some of that radiational cooling if we don't have cloud cover. And I think if we do get that, Pine Barrens are going below zero, and the rest of us are going to be in the single digits. And then Sunday still going to be cold with highs only in the upper 20s. And then here comes that storm system, and it's going to really bring in a surge of warm air. So you can see, look at that. You can actually see the signature looking at the temperatures. Here we are, midnight Monday, and you can see some really warm air coming in there on the right side there. Some warm air, and it's going to be damp, humid air too. So after we freeze, we go into the steamer for a little bit. All right, so looking at the dew points, here you go. North winds, and you can see it's showing you the dew point chart that the winds are from the north, and that's going to bring in this really bitterly cold. This air is right from the Arctic, so it's going to be Arctic air, but it's only going to be with us for a short while. So enjoy it while it lasts. We're still in it for Sunday, and then you can see it start Sunday morning. Then you can see it start to retreat, and there's those easterly winds. And look at that signature from that storm there. And that's going to bring in the heavy rain. Now, when we look at the amount of precipitation that this storm could bring, total accumulated rainfall. First, look at that. You can see it's going to be quite a bit of rain from this, probably at 1 to 2 inches across our area. And if we look at the snowfall, total snowfall, actually, this is going to actually have both storms. So you can see it actually does give us a little snow at the beginning, but that's going to wash away, probably an inch or less. But if you go north and west of the city, look at that. There, your higher amounts. You're going to be close to 8 to 15 inches probably in a lot of these areas to the north and west. It's going to be a big blizzard for them. For us, it's going to be a very windy rain. So that's one model we can look at. Let's put this back over here, and we're going to look at the ICON model next, because we got a lot of models to look at here. So ICON is next, and let's see how it does with here's the first storm again. There's pretty much agreement on the first storm. Let's see what it does with the second storm. Similar idea, but look at that slug of moisture coming in for Monday morning. That is one hell of a slug of moisture right there. That's coming in. I wouldn't even rule out a thunderstorm there. And this doesn't show dew points. But you can see it's going to be quite warm. That's going to be a tongue of warm air. Probably 50, probably a 50 or better, probably in that tongue of warm air that we're going to be dealing with. All right, so now let's look at the skies. RGEM, I like using that. We'll use the RGEM and the NAM for that. So here we are going into tomorrow, and you can see that storm taking shape. And we're going to be right on that western edge of the clouds. West of the city, you could have a sunny afternoon. On Long Island, we'll probably be dealing with some clouds. But maybe if we get lucky, we can get rid of the clouds. Now, for Saturday, we'll start off with sunshine, but we're probably going to have to deal with some cirrus toward the afternoon. And then you can see it gets pushed to the south as that northerly flow comes in. And we'll start off Sunday probably with some sunshine and then thickening clouds as we get toward the evening. And then there comes the clouds from that storm system that we're going to be dealing with. The second storm system, which is the one that has our name on it. Let's look at the NAM 12. It doesn't really go far enough out. Let's see if we can go to the 18s. If we can get at least some of the weekend in here. So here's tomorrow. Pretty much the similar deal into the RGEM. And the clouds, again, we probably won't have any clear days. So the clear sky is probably going to be Saturday and Sunday, and that's when it's going to be cold, very cold. And so let's go to some of the other models next. Let's go to windy.com, which is the European model, and take a look at this monster storm that's brewing right now offshore. So we're going to keep it on the wind profile, so you get to see what this storm is going to do offshore as we get into tomorrow here. And this is the European model now. All right, but this is the center of the storm right here. It almost looks like it has an eye. Here we are at 3 o'clock Friday. I'm not even looking at wind gusts, but sustained winds north at 51 on the left side of this thing. As far as our area, it's going to be breezy, northwest at 22 tomorrow. And then the closer you are to the storm, you're going to have sustained winds at 30. And then out on the Cape here, north at 44. These are sustained winds. So when I put this into wind gusts, look at what happens here. So for gusts tomorrow, we're looking at gusts up to near 40 around Long Island. The South Fork could see gusts 40 to 50, but it's really the Cape that's going to see the higher wind gusts. There's a 58 mile an hour wind gust there. Let's look at Nantucket here, a 62. So it's going to be the extreme coastal New England that's going to feel the wind from this thing as the storm winds up. And then as we move this along into tomorrow night here, you can see here 7 o'clock. You can see those strong winds again staying offshore. Look at this white area. That's wind gusts up to 106 miles an hour. So we move this along here. This is going to be one hell of a storm. But the track takes it off of Nova Scotia, so Nova Scotia should be spared the worst of the winds. But the other factor that we have to worry about, and I can also look at the GFS too. This also shows you the GFS as well. We can show you the GFS as well with the winds. So you get an idea. Similar, pretty much an agreement on the winds here. The GFS is a little more intense as it takes it toward New Brunswick, and some parts of Nova Scotia could see wind gusts up to 60. And in New Brunswick too, it looks like it has the eye or the center of it going right over New Brunswick. That could be pretty bad for New Brunswick as well. 67 mile an hour wind gust near St. John's possible. So there's going to be a lot of power outages. Again, they've been getting a lot of storms lately. The other thing that I want to do with this, we go back to the European, is I want to look at how this is going to affect the seas. So let's take a look at that. Here we are, 1 o'clock tomorrow. You can see not too far offshore, you have some pretty high waves there. Right in the middle of the storm, look at that, 20-footers. As we move this toward 5 o'clock, it gets even worse. In the center of the storm, you're dealing with 25-foot waves. Look at this. Look at what happens when we get to Saturday. And we're all going to be seeing these high surf for Saturday, I think. Look at this, 34-foot, nearly 40-foot waves from this thing. This is going to create a lot of wave action, particularly Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. You're going to see some pretty big waves there, 16-foot, 20-foot. Look at that. That's incredible. Off St. John's, you're going to be having 33-foot waves. This is going to be a damaging storm, but more for them than for us. It's the next storm that we've got to worry about. So let's go back to the regular wind models here, and I'll move this over to the next storm that we're going to be dealing with, which is going to be Sunday storm. All right. And we're just looking at the straight winds right now. So here we are, Sunday, 9 o'clock. Let's move this over to midnight because that's when things are going to start ramping up. And you can see that low-level jet right there. There's your low-level jet that's coming in. So we'll paint this in red here. This is coming right from the tropics. That's going to be a feeder band for this thing as it moves into our area. This is midnight. That's what's going to start moving in after midnight to our area here. Here's 5 a.m. Well, maybe it's 3 a.m. here. So you can see some of these really strong winds here just offshore. And again, sustained winds east at 41 just offshore. And that is going to help pile the water, especially onto the South Shore, and cause a lot of flooding there. And again, this is an issue for the South Shore. That's why what's going on Long Island makes absolutely no sense. The middle of the island is the safest place to be from natural disasters, but because of stupid foolishness, this is what happens. So here we are, 7 a.m. The worst of that wind moves a little further away. Now we're just looking at straight winds. So let me move this to wind gusts because that's really what I want to show you because that's where it's the gusts that are going to cause the damage. So here we are looking at the wind gusts. It's the European model. All right, and you can see some of these very strong wind gusts coming in. 64 mile an hour there off Virginia Beach. Here we are. Let's go to midnight Sunday. All right. And again, this is the European model. 52 mile an hour wind gusts offshore. Moving this into, let's see, 3 a.m. It gets closer. So you can see these strong winds over Long Island. We'll have wind gusts close to 50. But offshore, just offshore, look at that, 87 mile an hour wind gusts. This is really going to kick up the waves. This is going to be a damaging storm. I don't think people realize it. But especially along the water here. 55 mile an hour. The gusts across Long Island here in the wee hours of Monday here. Let's move this to 9 a.m. And these could be thunderstorms here. I'm seeing like little stretches here. 91 mile an hour wind gusts. 89 mile an hour wind gusts offshore here. And remember, this is offshore, but still very disturbing. And then it ends as we get toward the afternoon. But this is very strong winds. Now, of course, we want to look at several models here. Let's go change this to the GFS and look at the wind gusts. So GFS is a little different. But here we are, 11 p.m. It looks like Atlantic City is getting whopped with 62-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I actually think this looks a little better than the Euro. Seems to make a little more sense. 64, and this is actually worse than the Euro because the winds are really strong. Now the Jersey Shore is getting pummeled around midnight. There's going to be a lot of flooding there along the Barrier Islands. And then as we move into that 2 a.m. hour, this is when Long Island gets into it, and we see those wind gusts. Look at that, 60 miles an hour overnight Monday. There's going to be a lot of power outages. And 69 miles, something 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts across Long Island overnight, that overnight period there. And I think as far as how many power outages with this kind of situation, I'm trying to think, probably around, I would say perhaps anywhere between 50 and 100,000 power outages. Between 50 and 100,000 individuals on Long Island could lose power from this storm. Now, of course, we don't have leaves on the trees, but these are very strong winds, and they're going to be accompanied by some very heavy rain as well. So that is the thing. And when we get close, we'll have more models to look at this storm. But the other issue, of course, let me go back, flip now to the European, is going to be the waves. So let's go to the waves right now. And here we go. So here we are, Monday, midnight. No, that's not it. Let's go here. Here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. So here you go. Looking at the wave action, you can see, look at this. On the south shore of Long Island, you have 10-footers at midnight. Not too far offshore, you're going to have 15 to 20-footers. Out in the ocean, you're going to have close to 20-foot waves. Let's see. This is kind of according to the European prediction. But you can see it gets worse. Here we are, 3 a.m. Monday. That red is getting closer, and that red is the 20-foot, 15 to 20-foot waves coming in along the beaches here. We're going to see a pretty significant coastal flooding. Oh, this is very bad. So 6 a.m., here we are, 6 a.m. Monday, 15-foot waves on the South Shore. The South Shore is going to be absolutely hit very hard by this storm, very hard, and this is going to be very bad. 15 to 20-foot waves. So this is going to be very bad. This is going to be almost like a hurricane for the South Shore as far as the flooding goes. 18-foot waves. I think we also have a full moon, or I think we're getting close to a full moon, so that could also make things worse. So look at the wave action. And the waves are going to continue to be stirred up. Here we are on Monday. Boy, this is sobering looking at this, isn't it? So look at this. I mean, look at how far these waves are stretching. We're all the whole eastern seaboard is dealing with these swells. This is going to be a huge, huge storm. And I'm really, really very concerned about it. I'm very concerned about it. So we're going to have to keep our eye on this storm for sure. The potential is there for some significant coastal flooding. And if you live along the South Shore, anywhere south of Merrick Road or on the Barrier Islands like Long Beach, prepare for some flooding because I think it's going to be pretty likely at this point. So that is going to be it for this video. We'll keep you posted on this storm. We have some days to go, but the main thing, this is like a 1-2 punch. We're going to deal with this Arctic blast, and then we're going to deal with this storm afterwards. Luckily, the storm comes after, because if the storm came first and you have all these people without power, that means no heat. That could be a real problem. All right, but we will look at what the weather's going to be like beyond this storm as well. So let's go look at the Ventu sky for the weekend. We're just going to look at this here, looking at the temperatures as we go into. Let's go to Saturday. I think it'll still show the HRRR, just to give you a visualize of what's going to happen. So here we are Saturday morning. Look at that, 11 degrees on Long Island. So this is going to be some pretty chilly air that we're going to be dealing with. And we're only going to be in the teens on Saturday. I think that's going to be it. That's as good as it gets. Upper teens. Let's flip on the cloud layer here. Yeah, and it has its clouds too. So if the clouds are out, that means that's going to block the sun and make it even colder. So we'll have to see. It would be nice if we had some sunshine with that cold air, but yeah, we may not. We'll have to see what happens. But either way, it's going to be frigid on Saturday. That's the bottom line. It's going to be very, very cold, dangerously cold day. But it's not going to be. It's only going to really be one really, really frigid day that we're going to have to deal with. Now, when we go beyond, let's go to the GFS here, and we'll just look at the weather beyond. Let me pull this out to the CONUS view, so we can look at the weather after this storm. So after this storm passes. things should calm down a little bit. We'll have high pressure build in for Tuesday and Wednesday before another like Clipper type system comes in. And then this could be another Arctic air mass here for Friday. It looks like another really cold air mass coming in. So we're going to continue to see these cold air masses. We're having a winter this year, though we're still having these freak storms, and that's all part of climate change. But the Arctic air is completely a normal thing to have in the winter. We haven't had it in a while. Again, if we look at the temperature anomaly chart, you'll see here, here's your first shot that comes in Saturday. Storm passes. We don't really, we have more of a westerly flow behind that, so it won't be too bad. And then here comes your next shot for Friday, the 21st. That's going to be pretty cold. And here comes another one for Monday. So we're going to get this is going to keep coming. Look at this. Here's Thursday, January 27th. So normally there's a January thaw. Not this year. If we look at this period right here, you can see, look at that, highs only in the teens again. This looks like a polar vortex type of situation setting up. So, of course, I'm very happy about that. We're going to finally get some really frigid weather. It's about time we get that. But obviously these storms are definitely something to concern ourselves with. But it doesn't look like any big snowstorms either. So, we haven't really gotten any big snowstorms, but we are going to get plenty of frigid, cold weather. So that is going to be it for this weather update. We'll have another one for you tomorrow, obviously, as we track that next storm. And then I'm going to do weather update every day, despite what's going on, because there's so much important stuff with the weather that has to be talked about. As far as local weather goes, you're not going to get it from the folks at Channel 12. That's it for this weather update. Take care, and thanks for watching.